Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren, Director of Training and Marketing. I hope everybody's doing well today. Today we have a special guest. We've got Debi Cecconi from Clearview Mortgage will be joining us today. Good morning, Debbie. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Just doing great up here. I'm sure you have beautiful weather out there in the desert.
It is absolutely crisp and clear and a little chilly, but absolutely beautiful.
That is no surprise. This is your time of year out there in the desert, right?
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah. So Debbie is out in Palm Desert. Just a beautiful spot if you've never visited. So Debbie, we're really glad to have you. You are the in-house Clearview Mortgage VA loan expert, and so we wanted to make sure that our agents get a little tutorial about all you know about VA loans. And the bottom line is that they're just not scary if you know what you're doing, right?
Exactly. You'll find out.
All right, perfect, Debbie. Well, with that, away you go. Show us all there is to know about VA loans.
All right. Well, I hope everyone is doing fantastic this morning, and I hope everyone has made their 2018 goals. This is going to be an awesome, awesome year. There's so much business out there, and I would love to see all of us capture all of that as much as possible and really reach our goals. One of the ways is with adding more clients in your repertoire of clients, okay?
For sure.
I'm just, think about this. I'm not sure if I could hear anybody or, hear any responses, but have you, when you're talking to people, there's two things that I ask people when I engage in a conversation. And if you're in this business, you should be engaging in conversations with just about everybody that you meet, okay? And one of the first things after I get to know a little bit about them standing in a line or at a meeting or whatever is, do you own a home? Number one, they either do or they don't own a home. For me, they're a client either way. For you, they could also be a client if they don't own a home. And if they do, maybe they want to sell. That's
Right.
the first thing I would want to know. The second thing is that I don't know how many people ask if this person that you're talking to is a veteran. VA loans are the easiest loans to do. And what I have found in the old days, because I've been doing this for almost 30 years, VA loans used to take like 60 to 90 days. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
And
Is that right?
yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
In the 1990s.
Right?
But these days we can close a VA loan in 30 days or less. Okay, so if there has ever been a fear to, let's say you're the listing agent, to accept a VA loan or a VA client, number one, give them a chance. I mean, they've served our country.
Heck yeah.
But number two, they are the easiest loans to do ever. Some people think, well, are the appraisals much different? Well, let me just tell you, I did a VA loan a couple of years back where the pool in the backyard was solid green. And the appraiser did take a picture of it, but never made it subject to the pool not being green. The appraisals will differ ever so slightly. I mean, they might look at certain things, and it also depends on the appraiser, really, with any transaction, even a conventional loan. But they're not that different. The only differences there are from a VA loan to a conventional loan is a termite report will always be required. And the other thing is there's going to be some closing costs possibly that the seller is not going to be allowed to pay. It does make a difference if the total closing costs exceed a certain percentage, and then they have to be paid by the seller or by us. And in a lot of cases, we can pay all the closing costs. I just closed one not too long ago that they didn't have to put a down payment. And because their credit score was over 700, we literally paid for every single bit of their closing costs. It was just, it's an amazing loan. And
that's amazing, Debbie.
I can't even tell you how excited I am when I get a VA client.
Yeah, no kidding. Now, and also just wanted to make sure everybody knows out there in Cyberland, if you have a question, just put your cursor at the bottom of your screen and it should pull up your Zoom controls. And one of those controls says chat. And so if you click on that, little chat window should open up to the right. And if you have any questions for Debbie, more than welcome to go ahead and ask the questions. We also do have the ability, if you really have a detailed question, we can unmute your microphone for you. And so if there's something that you really have a detailed question about for Debbie, we can do that as well.
Okay, thank you for that, Kevin.
Sure.
Now, and I close about 2 to 3 VA loans a month, and they are, again, the easiest loans to close. We have an investor that will go as low as a 580 FICO score for the veteran. So, you're probably wondering, how much can the veteran buy? Like, what's the max loan amounts? There are county limits. And then I'll go into, what if it exceeds the county limit? Okay, so we'll go into that in the next pages. And also, if you run into people that are renting, you can turn a lease prospect into a buyer, even if they don't have any money. All right, because we have a 1% down program. And we could also pay closing costs. The seller can pay closing costs. I mean, they have to have a little bit of money, but practically no money, okay? And with VA loans, the interest rates are amazingly lower than conventional rates. I would say by about like 0.5%.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, the minimum FICO score, we could go as low as 580. And that's, of course, on a case-by-case because what made them have a 580 FICO score. So we have to take a look at that, and that is case by case. So what is the max VA loan? Let's check that out. So, some of the other questions that, let's see, VA appraisals may be analyzed a little bit more, but not by much. Termite report is mandatory. Closing costs can be paid by the buyer, the seller, the realtor, a gift, and us. So now this is the way that VA works. There's no down payment required up to the county limits. So LA and Orange County is $636,150. Riverside and San Bernardino counties, you can go up to $424,100 with no down payment. But let's say that they're in, your buyer wants Riverside and he wants to buy a $500,000 property. Okay, fine. You take the difference between the $424,100 and $500,000. Okay, so I'm going to do the math really quick here. So the difference is $75,900. Now, they don't have to come up with that difference, but what VA requires is that they come up with 25% of that $75,900. So their down payment is essentially $18,975 for a $500,000 property.
Wow, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, and Orange County, you could get something at $636,150, no down payment for the veteran.
Unbelievable.
And we talked about the interest rates being about 0.5% lower than conventional rates. Now, for our preferred program, the minimum FICO score is 640, but we just got in a new program that we can go as low as 580 on a VA loan. All right. So, I get asked to pre-qualify a lot of people that say they have bad credit. They don't think they're going to qualify. I did, the normal debt to income ratio on a conventional loan is like 45%. We might be able to push it up to 50. But on a VA loan, we could even go as high as 65% debt to income ratio, which allows them to qualify for more of a home. So there's a ton of benefits with the VA loan. If you're not asking people if they're a veteran, you need to start asking them. And I'll tell you, most veterans think they cannot qualify for a loan.
Yeah.
But guess what? We get them a loan.
Amazing, and such a great thing. I've always respected you, Debi, for doing this service for the veterans. They've done so much for our country, so it's amazing that you can at least do a small favor for them and get them a loan.
Well, I thank you for that. And you know what? My middle son, I have 3 sons. My middle son is a veteran, and he bought his first little tiny condo for $165,000. After 3 years, made $100,000, then bought a house, and used some of that money as a down payment, even though they don't have to. But he wanted to keep his payment low.
He's a success story for sure. So, and that's exactly why, the government came up with these programs, is to make sure that they're helping the veterans, so that's amazing that they're able to get a home. Your son is a prime example, got into a home, was able to make some good money on that home, turn around, buy another one. That's just fantastic, Debi.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, not only are they getting a home, but what's the biggest reason why most people purchase properties? It's to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
the nest egg.
Almost sure ways to make money. And again, some of the highlights: higher debt to income ratio on a VA loan, which allows them to purchase more of a home, which puts more money in the realtor's pocket too. And the biggest thing is that with our lenders that we use, with our system, we can close VA loans, any loan, in 30 days or less. And that's not even pushing it. Another benefit to a VA loan is that there's no PMI. Now, one thing is, depending on their eligibility, when we run their certificate of eligibility, they may have a funding fee. VA requires a funding fee added to the loan. First-time use might be 2.15% of the loan amount added to the loan. Second-time use, 3.3% of the loan amount added to the loan. So it doesn't come out of pocket, it's added to the loan. It's kind of like mortgage insurance on a VA level. But if they left the service with any kind of limitation whatsoever, not leaving the service because of health issue or a limitation, but if they are at a status of any kind of disability, that funding fee is completely waived. And a lot of veterans don't know that. They don't know that they, maybe they didn't leave the service with a disability, but they now have a disability. So they fall into the no funding fee zone. So, and really a lot of them don't even know that that's where they fall into.
Yeah, I can see that. And Debi, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, how can we educate more veterans on, that these programs exist, especially as real estate agents, the people on the call. I think it would be a great brainstorm session to see, how can we, make sure that we're reaching out to veterans and finding veterans and educating them.
Well, one way is to hang out at the VA. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I wouldn't underestimate any person that you talk to. It's amazing. I did a couple of loans for a couple of United airline captains, and they, were in the Air Force. One was in the Army, one was in the Air Force. They looked, clean cut, older gentlemen. You just never know. It could be a female. They don't have to have like a shaved head and
right.
for you to know that they're a veteran. That's why you should be asking every single person, hey, are you a veteran? And really to reach out one by one. If you do end up speaking with a veteran and you have like no clue what to tell them or what kind of information to give them, do a 3-way call with me.
Yeah.
And let's find out. Another great thing with this no down payment program for veterans is that there is no income limitation. So this airline pilot was making $250,000 a year. There's no income limitation for these veterans. So another thing, we do have another program. It's a low down payment option where the borrower only has to come out of pocket with 1% of the down payment on a minimum 3% down loan program.
Wow.
And there is a no PMI option. 720 FICO scores are required. And the debt to income ratio is, when we run the DU, which is the desktop underwriting program, which is an automated approval system, we run the loans through that. If it accepts a 50 debt to income ratio, then we have a loan. But we do have this program, which is 3% down. And you can get a lower interest rate if the buyer's putting their own 3% down. But the rate is slightly higher if they just want to put their own 1% down payment. So that helps them a lot.
Yeah.
So in short, I mean, this was kind of short. I could go on and on about VA loans and really how to get out there and get more business. First of all, people are going to love working with you because of you. So you can engage in conversation. It doesn't matter where I'm at. My husband's always telling me, oh my God, there she goes talking to somebody again. But he laughs about it because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even the guys that installed our windows, never underestimate somebody. I asked all the workers, do they own a home? And one of them said, no, but I would like to. And 2 months later, we exchanged numbers on that, occasion that they were putting the windows in. And then 2 months later, he calls me and he goes, okay, I'm ready. And I already closed, and that was, a year and a half ago. But yeah, I'm just saying, never underestimate people that you're talking to, because everywhere you go, engage in conversation with people and ask them as the conversation goes on if they own a home or if they're a veteran. And it's funny, when you ask people, do you own a home? Oh my gosh, they have stories.
Yeah.
They'll either say, oh yeah, but I hate my house. I wish I could buy something else. I don't know if I qualify. And I mean, the wealth of information that you're getting, you're like, ding, ding, ding.
What a great way to open the conversation too. How easy is that, Debbie?
It's so easy, So I hope this has helped everyone. My numbers are on the screen, and please feel free to call me if you have any questions, or if you want even more information, or if you want to do a 3-way with your borrower that's a veteran.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you guys, and I'm here to help you make more money too.
For sure.
You can get that buyer in that tells you, I don't know if my credit's very good, or I don't know if I'm going to qualify. Get them over to us. Yeah. And we'll find out for you, because that could just be more money in your pocket for 2018, baby.
Absolutely. And, so Debbie, you are the in-house expert. But if you're already working with Bill and Derek, they are experts at this too. They obviously, Debbie knows her stuff with the VA side. She's been doing it for a long time, but all three of the guys really can help you out with these VA loans. Debbie should be on speed dial for everybody. So get her number into your phone. Don't hesitate to contact her. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? And I know we always want to make these Wednesday webinars as quick as possible, but I don't see that anybody has any specific questions in the chat. And again, the way that you access the chat is by putting your cursor at the bottom of the Zoom screen and finding that little chat bubble. Click on the chat bubble, and that'll open up a little chat window to the right. But it looks like everybody is good. And of course, if you have questions directly for Debbie, you can send her an email, and you can give her a phone call.
It was great, you guys. Thank you so much. Go out there and Be prosperous.
You know it. Well, thanks, Debbie. And you guys, as Debbie says, go out there and make it a great day. And any questions, send them our way. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Debbie.
Bye-bye.